Ready? Okay, sitting alongside Aaron Boone, manager of the New York Yankees. This is your 7th season as the manager. After a disappointing year last year, has the message changed at all?
The message evolves a little bit every year, but the message isn't the same. You know, we're here to try and build a championship club, and that's our goal, that's our expectation, and that really hasn't changed in any of the years that I've been here. You know, it's a different off season, not going to the playoffs. So maybe a deeper dive into some things as an organization. You know, tough questions that we asked each other, and deeper dives from department to department, and hopefully, you know, just finding higher ground for all of us. And really excited about, you know, really a lot of our guys that especially had, you know, difficult seasons or injury-riddled seasons. Excited about where all those guys are coming into camp, but the message hasn't really changed. We're here to try and build a championship club.
Yeah, having said that, everybody in the organization being on the same page. Aaron Judge spoke the other day saying that through several conversations with everyone involved, that he feels you guys are in a much better place with the usage of the analytics, with the usage of what's important within those numbers. You know, can you talk a little bit about that as well?
Yeah. Look, I think you're always, you know, it's a very competitive industry, and you're always trying to move the needle. You know, even in the most successful of times, you're trying to kind of always evaluate and get better. You know, we probably have taken a harder look coming off of what was a very difficult season for us. And part of that is having those conversations, a lot of times having difficult conversations to try and get to higher ground and trying to get a little bit better and move the needle where we can. Because, you know, ultimately, you know, the difference between not making the playoffs, being a playoff team, being a championship team is always on the margins. And we're trying to win those margins and get a little bit better where we can. And I'm pleased with where we're at in our progress. But as I caution these guys too, you know, we're in February. We've laid the initial off-season foundation where these guys have come in a really good place. Now it's about trying to lay bricks down to build that championship, but we're a long ways from that.
Yeah, you guys lost in the ALCS Game 7, and you went out and got Garrett Cole to answer for you know, some of the things that you needed. This year you went out and answered by getting one of the best left-handed bat in all of baseball with Juan Soto. Does the pressure build even more?
I don't know if it builds more. I've been asked that a little bit down here. When you put on this uniform, you know, I think the pressure is always there, always exists. But I don't necessarily think it's anything more. You know, every year I've come in here, it's been with championships on our mind and with that expectation, and along with that comes pressure. And but that's part of, you know, not only putting on a major league uniform, but especially the pinstripes. And it's what we enjoy, what we sign up for, and there's no other place that a lot of us would want to climb the top of the mountain than here.
Okay. You played with, of course, the captain Derek Jeter, and now you've seen a new captain anointed in Aaron Judge. What are the similarities between the two?
That competitive fire that maybe looks a little bit different for everyone, but those two so had it. You know, when I came over and got to play with Derek for the first time, having not really known him that well or even experienced him, his competitiveness was a separator for him. And the confidence he played the game with was second to none. And I played with a lot of really good players in my career, and the confidence that he played the game with is always something that struck me. Aaron is obviously super talented. He loves the game. He loves everything about the game. So not just the you know, go out and play the sexy parts of being a big leaguer and go and play the game, but all the little things that aren't necessarily the fun part, he loves those things. He loves the training and the diving into all the little details that help make you a great player. And coupled with that, as nice a person as he is, and that's who he is, and that's how he presents himself, and to see him interact with people day in and day out throughout the year is impressive. But underneath that really nice person is a killer instinct that I get to see night in and night out.
I wanted to touch on, you bring in two big personalities in Marcus Stroman and Alex Verdugo.
Yeah.
The pinstripes often get guys who are known to be a little bit flamboyant to calm down a little bit. Do you think the same will happen?
I don't know if I necessarily want them to calm down or not be themselves. Right. I want them to, feel really comfortable in our room and in our clubhouse and in our culture. And I'm really excited what I've seen here in the early days of camp anyway. In Marcus's case, obviously, he's already put together a really strong career to this point and a veteran player in this league. The one thing that strikes me about Marcus is I believe this is absolutely where he wants to be. And I think there's a lot to be said for that because, it's not necessarily for everyone. And I think this is the ending that he wanted. This is where he wants to be. And that shows up, I think, every day that I've seen him so far and getting to know him now in these early days. As far as Alex, I'm hoping a fresh start is something that serves him well. I think it will. He's excited to be here. He's been welcomed with open arms from all the big boys in that room. He's a guy that we frankly have had our eye on for the last couple of years. He's been a little bit of a thorn in our side. And for as solid a player as he's been already in his young career, I think there's more in there. I think it's a super talented hitter that hopefully we can help him take another step in his career trajectory.
Speaking of two guys and career trajectory, DJ LeMahieu and Giancarlo Stanton are getting on that other side of 30, 32, 34 plus. Do you feel that they can continue to bounce back or have a bounce back season compared to last season?
I do. DJ's in a place I haven't seen him in a few years physically. He spent much of the offseason down here training, and I haven't seen him run, move. There's explosiveness back in his lower half that I haven't seen the last couple of years, and it's really exciting. So he's in a really good place, and I'm excited to see what he goes out and does for us this year. And then Giancarlo, obviously the big story, him coming in lighter, and I know he's put together a great offseason. I know he's worked really hard to, make sure he's able to, be a more athletic player between the lines and a better option night in and night out. And I do believe he's got a big year in him, and excited how he's come in and the mindset that he's in. But now we get to go find out about both.
Mm-hmm. Garrett Cole's coming off a Cy Young season. The drop-off in performance or even availability from your ace through your rest of your rotation was a disappointment last year. Can you touch base on where those starters are now?
Yeah, I mean, I think when you sum up and look at us as a whole last year, we struggled offensively. We weren't a great offensive team, certainly nowhere near what we're accustomed to. A lot of that had to do with some injuries to some key players, obviously, but also some just down performance. And in years past, when we've had some injuries, we've had certain people really step up and pick us up, and that didn't happen as much last year. And then the starting pitching with Nestor and Rodon really being injury-riddled seasons for them, and not performing like we know they're hopefully going to this year. There was behind Garrett, we struggled to kind of have that consistent rotation. Clark Schmidt really stepped up for us, took a huge step in his career, and was, really you look at Clark too, he struggled the first month of the season. The final 4.5, 5 months, he was a really good pitcher behind Garrett and really reliable. Hopefully he takes another step, but a couple keys for us are going to be Nestor and Carlos healthy and returning to form. So far they look the part, they look strong, they're bouncing back well, but we need those guys to certainly be what we expect if we're going to be the team we expect.
Yeah. For the Yankee fans, they obviously were beyond frustrated last year. Some of the messages coming out of the front office, it was kind of, didn't know why the fans were frustrated, that the Yankees have always been a winner, and last year, of course, being a disappointment. For you as a manager, I've seen you show your frustration with umpires. Is there a time that you ever showed your frustration with the team and the performance?
Yeah, I mean, it's a long season, so there's all kinds of things that happen that aren't in front of cameras. You know, between players, between coaches and players, and manager and players. I think I have a very strong relationship with our clubhouse and with our guys, and hopefully when you have those strong relationships, you know, difficult conversations come up all the time throughout the year. So, you know, we all get frustrated at different times, but I also try and remain really consistent and emotionally consistent day in and day out, because I think that's important in this chair.
Absolutely. And last thing, one message for the fans about the 2024.
We can't wait. We can't wait to see you guys. We think we have the chance to build something special here. It's very early in spring, but we are looking forward to getting into the regular season, getting back to the Bronx, and hopefully chasing down number 28 this year.
Congratulations. Thank you.
You bet.
Painless.